The V10 engine, 10 cylinders, 5 per bank, a configuration that sits perfectly between the thunderous V8 and the silky V12. It's the Goldilocks of engine layouts, powerful enough to make your heart race, exotic enough to turn heads, and balanced enough to deliver an experience unlike anything else on four wheels. Today, we're celebrating some of the most incredible V10-powered cars ever made. No rankings, no hierarchy, just pure automotive excellence in its most visceral form. Let's get into it. Let's start with the car that made supercar ownership almost practical, the Audi R8. Sharing its DNA with the Lamborghini Gallardo and Huracán, the R8 packs a naturally aspirated 5.2-liter V10 that produces anywhere from 525 to 610 horsepower, depending on the generation and variant you choose. But here's what makes the R8 special. It's a supercar you can actually live with. Audi's Quattro all-wheel drive gives you confidence in any weather. The interior? Pure German precision. Visibility? Actually decent for a mid-engine car. And that sound. Oh, that glorious naturally aspirated wail that climbs all the way to 8,700 RPM. The R8 proves you don't have to sacrifice comfort and usability to experience the magic of a V10. It's the supercar with a split personality. Aggressive when you want it, refined when you need it. The Lexus LFA is the unicorn, the obsession, the automotive equivalent of a perfectly crafted Japanese sword. Toyota spent nearly a decade and an estimated $1 billion developing this car. Only 500 were ever made. And at the heart of it all is a 4.8-liter V10 that revs to 9,000 RPM and produces 552 horsepower. But those numbers don't tell the real story. The LFA's V10 was so finely engineered that Lexus had to ditch the traditional tachometer for a digital one. Analog gauges simply couldn't keep up with how fast this engine revs. And that sound, many consider it the greatest engine note ever created. Yamaha tuned the intake and exhaust like a musical instrument. The result? Automotive symphony. The LFA wasn't just a car, it was a statement. A middle finger to anyone who doubted that Lexus could build something truly special, and they absolutely nailed it. Now, I know what you're thinking. Isn't the Murcielago a V12 car? You're absolutely right. But here's the thing. The Murcielago represents that golden era when Lamborghini was at its wildest, right alongside the V10 revolution happening with the Gallardo. And honestly, any conversation about ultimate performance cars from this era feels incomplete without it. This was the last of the truly insane Lamborghinis before the brand became more refined. That 6.2 or 6.5-liter V12 produced up to 661 horsepower in LP 640 form. Those scissor doors, that aggressive stance, that absolutely mental styling. The Murcielago was a poster car that delivered on every promise. It was the car that made you believe in automotive dreams. Let's talk about one of the most controversial M cars ever made, and also one of the greatest, the E60 BMW M5. This was the only M5 to ever receive a V10 engine. BMW took inspiration from their Formula One program and created a 5.0-liter naturally aspirated masterpiece, producing 500 horsepower and revving to 8,250 RPM in a sedan, a four-door family car. The E60 M5 could hit 60 miles per hour in about 4 seconds and had a top speed of 205 miles per hour when unrestricted. It came with a 7-speed SMG transmission that was an acquired taste. But find one with a 6-speed manual? That's the holy grail. But here's the thing. This engine was complicated. Rod bearings became a notorious issue. Maintenance costs were astronomical. But for those who could afford to keep one running, they experienced something truly special. A naturally aspirated V10 and a practical package that could carry 4 adults in comfort and then destroy supercars on a back road. The E60 M5 was BMW at their most ambitious, and we'll probably never see anything like it again. From German precision to American excess, let's talk Viper. The Dodge Viper took the concept of more is more and ran with it. An 8.0 to 8.4-liter V10, depending on generation, producing anywhere from 400 to 645 horsepower. No turbos, no superchargers, just displacement and attitude. This wasn't a refined machine. No traction control in early models, no ABS, no airbags in the first generation, just you, a massive engine, and a prayer. The Viper was raw, dangerous, and absolutely intoxicating. It was a car that demanded respect and rewarded skill. Carroll Shelby's influence was all over this thing. It was essentially a modern Cobra. And let's not forget, the Viper dominated at Le Mans, proving that American muscle could compete with European exotics on the world stage. If the Viper was raw American muscle, the Porsche Carrera GT was German engineering taken to its absolute zenith. A 5.7-liter V10 derived from a cancelled Le Mans prototype program. 605 horsepower, a 6-speed manual transmission with a wooden shift knob, a screaming red line at 8,400 RPM, and a price tag that made it unobtainable for most. The Carrera GT wasn't just fast, it was an experience. No electronic nannies, no stability control, just pure, unfiltered connection between driver and machine. That sound? It's been described as angry angels, as mechanical fury, as automotive perfection. The Carrera GT sounds like nothing else on earth, but it was also notoriously difficult to drive at the limit. This was a car that demanded absolute respect. Get it wrong, and the consequences could be catastrophic. Get it right? You've experienced one of the greatest driving machines ever created. Values have skyrocketed into multi-million-dollar territory. The Carrera GT isn't just a car, it's a piece of automotive history. The Lamborghini Gallardo was the car that saved Lamborghini. Before the Gallardo, Lamborghini was struggling. They needed a more accessible model to survive, so they created the Gallardo, a baby Lamborghini with a 5.0 to 5.2-liter V10 producing between 500 and 570 horsepower. Over its production run from 2003 to 2013, Lamborghini built over 14,000 Gallardos. That's more than all previous Lamborghini models combined. The Gallardo proved that you could have proper Lamborghini drama. The looks, the sound, the performance, without needing supercar-sized wealth. Well, you still needed wealth, just slightly less of it. It was sharp, focused, and absolutely gorgeous. The Gallardo was the beginning of modern Lamborghini, and it set the stage for everything that followed. Here's where things get interesting. What if you took that Lamborghini V10 DNA and put it in a luxury sedan? That's exactly what Audi did with the C6 generation S6, a 5.2-liter V10 producing 435 horsepower in a refined, understated executive sedan. This wasn't about being the fastest or the loudest. The S6 was about having supercar power in a package that could fly under the radar. Suit and tie on the outside, racing suit underneath. The S6 could cruise comfortably on the highway, then absolutely demolish a back road when you found one. And unlike its Italian cousin, it came with a reasonable maintenance schedule. Well, reasonable by V10 standards. It was the ultimate sleeper. The car that CEOs drove to board meetings and then took to track days on weekends. Refined brutality in a tasteful package. Now for something completely different. What happens when you take a Viper's 8.3-liter V10 and stuff it into a pickup truck? You get the Ram SRT10, 505 horsepower in a vehicle designed to haul lumber. This wasn't just a marketing gimmick. The Ram SRT10 was genuinely quick, 0 to 60 in under 5 seconds, a top speed over 150 miles per hour. It even came in a regular cab configuration with a 6-speed manual transmission. Could it tow? Sure. Did anyone buy it for towing? Absolutely not. This was about excess, about making a statement, about having the most ridiculous truck in the parking lot. The Ram SRT10 proved that Americans would put a V10 in literally anything if given the chance. And honestly, we're better for it. The Lamborghini Huracán is the Gallardo's successor, and it's better in every measurable way. That same 5.2-liter V10, now producing between 602 and 640 horsepower depending on variant. Modern technology like all-wheel steering and advanced aerodynamics build quality that actually rivals its German competitors. The Huracán is the most refined V10 Lamborghini ever built. It's also the last. Lamborghini has confirmed that all future models will be hybridized or fully electric. That makes the Huracán incredibly significant. It's the end of an era, the last naturally aspirated V10 Lamborghini we'll ever see in pure form. And what a way to go out! The Huracán is sharp, dramatic, and absolutely intoxicating. It's everything a Lamborghini should be, refined to perfection. And now for the wildcard entry, the Volkswagen Touareg V10 TDI. Wait, a diesel? Absolutely. This wasn't just any diesel. The Touareg V10 TDI packed a 5.0-liter turbocharged diesel, V10 producing 310 horsepower and an absolutely monstrous 553 pound-feet of torque. This was the SUV that could tow a Boeing 747. Yes, really? Volkswagen actually demonstrated it towing a 747 as a publicity stunt. It could also hit 60 miles per hour in under 7 seconds, which was remarkable for a 3-ton SUV in 2003. The Touareg V10 TDI was engineering for engineering's sake. Because they could. Because why not? It was complicated, expensive to maintain, and totally unnecessary. In other words, it was perfect. Let's wrap up with the ultimate sleeper, the D3 generation Audi S8. Take that same Lamborghini-derived 5.2-liter V10, tune it to produce 450 horsepower, and install it in Audi's flagship luxury sedan. Add quattro all-wheel drive and a luxurious interior that rivals Bentley. The S8 was the car for people who wanted supercar performance but needed to look respectable doing it. No flashy styling, no loud exhaust, just understated elegance, hiding absurd capability. 0 to 60 in under 5 seconds. A top speed over 155 miles per hour when unrestricted. And a ride quality that made it perfectly comfortable for cross-country trips. The S8 was proof that you didn't need to compromise comfort for performance. You could have both. And that V10 soundtrack, just icing on the cake. So there you have it. An incredible collection of V10-powered machines. Each one unique, each one special in its own way. From practical daily drivers to absolute legends. From raw American muscle to refined German engineering. From supercars to pickup trucks to SUVs. The V10 configuration proved itself across every segment imaginable. But here's the reality we have to face. The V10 era is ending. Emissions regulations, electrification, and turbocharging have rendered this configuration nearly obsolete. Most of these cars are out of production. The few that remain won't be around much longer. That makes every single one of these machines precious. They represent a time when engineers could still dream big, when naturally aspirated engines weren't strangled by regulations, when drama and emotion mattered as much as efficiency. So if you ever get the chance to drive one of these cars, any of them, take it. Because that V10 soundtrack, that connection, that experience, we'll never see its like again. Which of these V10s speaks to you the most? Let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure to like and subscribe for more automotive content.